Welcome to Eye Level Studios and this edition of our series called Editing Essentials, Part 1. The number one problem that I encounter with new editors and even old editors is that they don't start with a good foundation. So I'm going to walk you through what I think is absolutely necessary for you to be a successful editor and deliver projects on time with the least amount of frustration as possible. So the first thing that I do whenever I start a project is I create a folder on my desktop. Now, you don't have to create the folder on your desktop. You can go to your documents folder and you can create a folder in your documents. But the important thing is that you create a folder that's going to be the foundation for your workflow. I have some folders already established in here. We're going to be using this folder called Osmo Clips. So I want to make sure that the footage that I want to use for my project is inside a folder, inside of that base folder, okay? So this is absolutely essential that you establish a master folder, that's what we call the master folder, and it will provide the framework for your workflow. We're going to create a new project. I'm going to call this project, you'll notice there's a place to name your project. I'm going to call this workflow. And I'm going to browse to the location that I want that project file to be set up at. So say browse, and lo and behold, since I've already started the project before, it gives me my foundational folder, edit tutorials, that master folder that I asked for. So I'll just say choose. Then the other thing I want to do is make sure that my scratch disks are set up in the same folder. So if you click on the tab that says scratch disks and you look at all the directory items that are listed in that tab, they should say same as project. And if they do, just say OK. And when you do that, you'll get the interface. For our purposes today, we're going to be editing. So if you don't see a program window, a timeline window, a project window, and a source window, go to the command items at the top of the page, say workspaces, and choose editing. And then you should get a layout that looks something like this. The next thing we're going to do is import our video or our media, because sometimes you're importing not just video, but you're going to import audio, Illustrator files, Photoshop files, whatever. So I'm just going to right click and say import, and I'm going to import that entire Osmo Clips folder. There's only 2 clips in there, and I already know what they are. And you should know what they are too. That's the important thing. You should know what you're importing and where those files are located. Okay. So as we look at the footage inside of the project window, let's expand the project window so that we can see some of the properties associated with that clip. So you'll see there's a good number of properties that you can access: media duration, video in point, video out point, video duration. But most importantly, what we want to look at is the video info. And we can see that its frame size is 1920 by 1080, and that the audio sample rate is 48,000 hertz. The other thing that's important for us is to know the frame rate, especially when we're going to go out at delivery. This particular frame rate's 29.97. As we conclude this little tutorial, I want to emphasize a couple of things. Number one, know where your master folder is and make sure that you have the clips that you want to use inside of that master folder. Emphasis number 2 is that you understand the properties associated with your clip, because they will become important to you as you get ready to deliver the project that you're editing. Next tutorial, we'll work on sequence settings and the editing interface.